Hey guys, it is Arika Misha, and today I wanted to come and talk about look where he brought me from. And as I was spending time with God the other day, every day, but as I was spending time with God and I wrote down these notes, I just began to just write down, and God was just ministering to me about how far He's brought me. The things that I've been through. Don't we do that sometimes? We reflect on things that we've been through and what God has done for us. And that's exactly what God was doing to me. God was saying to me, look where I brought you from. Look how far I brought you. Look where I brought you from. You're not where you were a year ago. You're not where you were 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Thank you, God, I'm not where I was 10 years ago. But yeah, that's what God was ministering to me about. God was saying, you're not where you were a few years ago. And I began to just write some things down. I began to just write down how God healed me from cancer. I just began to think about how God has provided for me and my family in spite of, things that I went through, and things that I'm going through now, dealing with, going through and fighting cancer, not being able to work and not being able to, financially be there like I should be for my family. And God stepped in and provided. God also had laid in my spirit about bad habits. Look how far you've come from those bad habits you had. I still got some, but I don't have as many as I used to, y'all. But yeah, and flesh issues, doing things out of the flesh, we ain't got to get into the details. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, God just began to just minister to me about how far He's brought me, about how I'm making better decisions now. I am not perfect. But God was just talking to me, about how far, I've come and how far He's brought me. And I was just thanking God. I was like, God, thank you. Thank you, God, for all that you've done for me. I was just so thankful. I just felt so thankful. And I just began to tell God, thank you for everything that you've done. And I said, God, thank you for everything that I've been through and not letting it be in vain. I mean, like that would really hurt me to go through something. Say God put me through something, or I go through something and it's in vain. No, if I'm gonna suffer, I'm gonna go through something. I want it to be for a reason. I want something to come out of my suffering. I don't want to just suffer for nothing. Suffer for Christ, yes. Yeah. But just thinking and talking to God, and God was just sharing with me about how far He's brought me, and I thank God for that. Look where He brought me from, just reflecting on my life, the decisions that I made and the things that I did that God wasn't so happy with. But I thank God for it, and like I said, God was just telling me to look how far He has brought me. Look how far. And I said, God, I would have never thought, 5-10 years ago that I would be right here, having a channel where I share my spiritual journey. I would have never thought in a million years that I would have a platform where I share my spiritual walk. And not only that, sharing my private business, things that I've been through. Because if you know me, I'm a very private person. I do not like people in my business. I do not tell people my business. But I thank God, look how far I have come. A YouTube channel sharing my spiritual journey. I would have never thought that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, never in my life, because I am too private for that. But you know what God said? God said things that you have been through, things that I have taken you through and gotten you through, God said that could help someone. And we like to hide what we go through. But things that you've gone through can help someone. You never know how it can help another person. Don't be ashamed. I had to learn that the hard way. So that's what God wanted me to come and talk about today. Look where He brought you from. Look where He brought me from. All right, guys, this is Arika Misha. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go in the description box. Click on that link to my second channel, guys. Over there, I'm doing family vlogs, hair, makeup, DIYs, grocery hauls, cooking. I do so much over there, guys. It's just my life, and I just do it to share that it may help someone. God bless. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.